Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. Today, our peak pose is going to be snail, also known as plow in other disciplines. So if you can't do that or you don't want to do that for any other reason, I will have an option for you to still get a nice inversion, but with less risk. And then our affirmations today are about spring. We're starting to get into the midst of spring. We got some nice spring affirmations. I hope you've got nice weather where you are. I was hoping it would be a little bit better today, but at least it's not raining or stormy. It's not snowing like it sometimes does in Kentucky in the springtime. It's just kind of a little cloudy, but I will take it. So that being said, let's get started. You can have a block here today for what we're going to do in the end or for the beginning. If you don't have a block, a folded blanket will work just as well. You can also have a bolster here, and I'm sitting on a folded blanket. So from here, we'll just come into our seated opening. Just find that nice tall seat. Slight little tuck in the chin. You can close the eyes or have them open, but gaze past down a few feet in front of you. We'll just come into a little bit of grounding breath. So as you inhale through the nose, find that expansion of the rib cage and slowly release. Big inhale and expand. And slowly release. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 reach. Turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail as you exhale. And we'll go again, palms turning up. Inhale and we'll reach, 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 reach. Turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail as you bring those arms down. Let's just bring those hands right to the heart. So I'm giving you spring affirmations, positive things about springtime that you can set as your intention. You can also set it as something else that you need. Renewal and rebirth. It's always a good one to have. Once you have that set, take a big inhale again. Let's get a nice side bend towards the left. Reach, reach, reach. Sits bones are grounded. We're breathing and we're expanding. And we'll engage and take that right over to the other side. Reach, reach, reach. Breathe and expand. Coming back up. Good. Let's get reach nice and tall. Let's rotate to the left. Reach those arms as you bring them down. Rolling shoulders back, maybe looking a little bit more behind you. And coming back up, take that rotation all the way over to the other side. Rolling arms back, shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. So you should always be able to breathe and expand in these twists. If not, you're too deep. And when you're ready, we'll lift and we'll come back. Let's go into a nice little spinal roll here. Belly button is still in. You can let the hips move around with you with this spinal roll. And then we'll take that in the other direction. And let's go into just a little gentle body waves. We're going to come into a big back bend here in a moment. We want to be a little bit more supple in that spine. So arms are out. Good. We're going to round the spine as we reach. We're going to open as we come back. So to show you this from a side angle, we're rounding and open. Reach. And use that breath. Good. And then from here, we are prepped and ready to go. Let's come into a short child's pose here. So if you need a knee cushion for yourself, you can bring that in. And as you get set up, good. Your knees can be together. They can be as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. You don't need to come all the way back here. Just go where your body takes you. And you can take arms forward or hands back by the ankles if your shoulders don't want that just yet. So find what your body needs here. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Breathe and expand. Now, the first affirmation that I will give you here is I welcome all the energy of spring into my life with open arms. I welcome all the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Good. And then whenever you're ready, hands can come under the shoulders. And we're going to set up for melting heart. In other disciplines, this is puppy. So there's a few ways you can do this one, and I will show you the different ways. Some of you might take forearms down. Good. Hips will stay over the knees. And then we'll just take the chest forward, tipping the pelvis back, belly button in. So maybe that's your melting heart. Another melting heart, you can take a block, you can take a folded blanket and press under the chest. I'll just use this block since it's be here. Good. As you want to come in maybe a little bit deeper here, okay, that's another option. And then those of you that have the full option, the chest comes all the way to the floor. Now I'm going to take my timer with me. This is just going to be for 2 minutes. So I'm just going to start here. Good. And I'm not coming all the way down just yet. I want to give myself some time to acclimate and come in. But I'm still zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm breathing and expanding. Good. You can take your chin down or forehead down. Kind of choose what you need there. If you've got a neck issue, you want your forehead down. This is one that used to be extremely uncomfortable for me. But over time, as my body opened up, now I love it. So welcome all the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Still breathing and expanding. Belly button stays in. You can come out at any time if you need to. Welcome spring with open arms. We had a weird winter around here. Kind of most winters in Kentucky, but this year was just strange. Now I'm ready to move on to spring, something different. No coats, no jackets. And then from here, based on where you went, you want to carefully come out. Now I'm going to move my blanket out of the way that I had for a knee cushion. And then I'm going to come all the way onto my belly here and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. If pressing back into a roundy child's pose would be better for you, then take that one. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the hands under the shoulders and we're going to press back. So I'm going to bring my folded blanket back in here. I'm going to sit on it and we're going to come to a seated twist. A seated twist. So for the seated twist, this will be 3 minutes on each side. So you can do this one however it feels good to you. So you can just do a basic crisscross applesauce, paying attention to what leg that you have in front, because you'll change that when we go to the other side. Or you can just kind of have, this is my left leg here. And I'm going to take you can take your right foot here, or you can cross it over. It kind of depends on where you need to be. If your leg is crossed over, see how my hip is hiking up a little bit here, you want to be able to keep the hips grounded. So wherever you're going, practice well. And sitting up with a nice tall spine will start. So big inhale and reach. Exhale, my right knee is up. I'm going to twist to my right, rolling my shoulders back. Next affirmation, spring is a time of renewal and rebirth. Spring is a time of renewal and rebirth. And this is a time of year I love that my green space, or I should reverse that, that my yard backs up to my green space. We've got squirrels and squirrel babies. We've got the chipmunk family. We've got rabbits that are having babies in the spring and all through the summer. We've got bird baby nests all over the place with different kinds of birds. It's a really nice time. And breathe and expand. Now, you can always take a break as you become more open. If it's safe for you, you can always come into a deeper twist. So long as you're still taking that back shoulder back, front shoulder goes back as well, and you're not cranking through the spine and can still breathe and expand through the rib cage. Expanding, breathing. Can you release any tension from any areas of the body that might be building up? Another thing you can do here, if you are strong in the core, oh, maybe not. We'll explain that in the next one. Carefully come out of there. Good. That's why I have a timer. Good. And just take both legs long and shake it, shake it, shake it. When you're ready, we will go to the next one. So sit, do your legs how you need to do them. Good. So my left leg was on the bottom kind of this time. So I'm going to take my right leg here. I'm going to bring my left foot in and I'm going to twist to the left. So when you're ready, coming up nice and tall, nice and tall. Good. Find that little twist. Now, what I meant to say before the timer cut me off on the other side, when we do this one, not just today, but anytime, if you feel like your core becomes stronger and you can sit with a tall spine, you're not, kind of leaning back or anything, you can take the hand that you might use back here for support and wrap it around a little bit, opening up that shoulder and chest a little bit more. That may not work for everybody, but just know that it is an option should you ever want to go there. So I welcome the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Spring is a time of renewal and rebirth. What about I use this time to declutter my heart, home, and life? I use this time to declutter my heart, home, and life. I want to stay back there. We've started cleaning the inside of the house, going through things several weeks ago, but we lost 21 boxwoods in our front yard, the blight. So we will be spending a lot of our spring cleaning that up and making way for a renewal of sorts of landscaping in the front. So I'm actually really excited about it. Breathe and expand. You came up with a different intention. You can come back to that and always returning the breath. Releasing any tension that might be building up somewhere. Carefully come out of the rotation. Good. Take those legs long and shake, shake, shake. All right, let's go into a half butterfly with a side bend here. So I'm going to start by taking my left leg out to the left. I'm going to take my right foot in. We're going to side bend to that. So we're going to side bend to the left. So if you don't have a lot of motion, but need something to rest on, you can always bring in a block or a bolster here. Otherwise, we'll go right to it. We're going to do 3 minutes on each of these as well. So from here, big inhale, exhale, find that side bend. And just reach, and remember, you don't have to go over to your maximum like this. Just let your body get you there. Breathing and expanding. So I welcome all of the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Spring is a time of renewal and rebirth. I use this time to declutter my heart, home, and life. I'm grateful to be able to go outside in the fresh air and spend time in the afternoon sun, because in the spring it's not too hot. It's just right. So I'm grateful that I can go outside, breathe in that fresh air, and spend time in the afternoon sun. Now, how you spend time in the afternoon sun depends on you. That might be being on your deck in a fire pit with your favorite beverage. It might be just sitting in your gardens. It might be going into a park and taking a walk. Now, you can also come into a little bit of a rotation here if that's okay. It's a little too stretchy for me, so I'm going to stay open. But you choose. We've got about a minute left. Remember, both sits bones are grounded. We're trying to open up this area right here, because this is the area that's affected a lot when we go into snail or plow pose. And breathe and expand. Breathe and expand. And then from here, carefully come up. You might be a little sensitive over here, so be careful when you come up. If you need to do any movements after you come up, listen to your body and do that, and we'll switch sides. And then when you're ready, your right leg goes out, left foot comes in. Reset how you're sitting if you need to do that. And when you're ready, big inhale, exhale, taking that over, breathing and expanding. So I welcome the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Spring is a time of renewal and rebirth. I use this time to declutter my heart, my home, and my life. I am grateful to be able to go outside in the fresh air and spend time in the afternoon sun. And for right now, maybe I'm just grateful and thankful for warmer weather. I know a lot of us are. Not the extreme heat of summer, but something a little bit warmer. For me, I like the weather where it's no jackets or coats, but you can wear pretty much anything else you want. You can wear long pants, you can wear short, sleeveless, short sleeve, long sleeve, and be fine. Sandals, shoes. Breathing and expanding. Belly button is still in here. Again, you've got about that minute. So if you did want to go over into just a little bit of rotation, you can do that here or stay open. And notice your side. Do you have one side that's easier or more open, or easier to open, more open to being open than the other? Or maybe not. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, good, you might be a little vulnerable back there, so carefully come back up. Good. And take any little movement that would feel good to you. Good. We're going to do a caterpillar here, just to kind of counter some of that stuff that we did. So I'm going to just redo a little shift here. So I like to sit on my blanket when I do caterpillar. You don't have to. All about how you feel. And you can choose to have a bolster or a cushion or pillow or something here as well. This is good if you need something to put on the break. If you know that, folding and flexion a certain way is not good for you. This is kind of stop you from going too deep. So you can let it stack on the legs. You can take your legs wider and kind of let it come in between. You choose what you need there. You can also take your block if you know that your hands touch or go beyond and put that right there as well. Just remember, if you're holding on to yourself or the block, it's a light grip, not a death grip. So from here, sitting up nicely and tall, I'm going to come into a little bit of an anterior tilt, I think, of the pelvis. So I'm going to take my tailbone a little bit more that way, frontal hip bones more this way. Good. When you're ready, big inhale and reach. Exhale, hinge forward with a long spine first. And right before you come to their edge, take a little round here. Good. And then your body will just sink in there as it needs. You can always prop something under the knees as well if you're really tight and need to keep them bent, but don't want to think about keeping them bent. Breathe and expand. And welcome all of the energy of spring into my life with open arms. Spring is a time of rebirth and renewal. I use this time to declutter my home, my heart, and my life. I am grateful for being able to go outside, breathing in the fresh air, and spending time in the afternoon sun. I am grateful for the warmer weather that spring brings. I love the wildlife babies that come with that renewal and rebirth. And when you're ready, good. We'll carefully come back up from there. And again, if you need to do a little rotation, you can do that little rotation. We're going to come onto our backs now. So we're making our way back down onto the floor. We're onto our backs, rather. We're already on the floor. So from here, and I'm just going to go ahead and reset. I'm going to use a folded blanket here for something we're going to do in a moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that up before I come onto my back. So if this is what you're going to use here for a moment, then you can go ahead and do that. Or if you're not sure, you can do that as well. I'm just going to come down here. As you come down here, take your feet as wide as your mat. I'm just going to reset. And find a nice windshield wiper in here. So your belly button is in because you're taking spine into rotation. We're going to get a little bit of a deeper of a psoas muscle stretch. So my feet are still as wide as the mat. I'm going to let my knees go towards the left. And you can stay here. If that feels okay in the low back, the hip, and the knee on the right side, you can stay or move on. If it doesn't feel good, you want to come out. If you're moving on, pick up the left ankle. You want it on the thigh, not the knee joint. Okay, your knee's not going to like it, especially for 2 minutes. So be where you think you can be, and you can always, back off a little bit, taking the leg off. But belly button is in. Breathe and expand the rib cage. With everything going on with spring, especially with weather changes and storms, it's also a time to be still and reconnect. We do that sometimes in the winter, but spring is also important because you've got a lot of that energy that's in the air, a lot of the storm energy. You've got all the rebirth and renewal energy that's coming, around. So sometimes it's good to just be still. And I'm going to back off a little bit from here. Good. And then we'll come back to center, carefully undoing. Bring your knees or legs in a little bit more in line with the hips here, and then get a little windshield wiper that way. Something a little bit different from what we just did. If you need to shake out a leg or two, you can do that. And when you're ready, we're going to take that to the other side. So from here, taking my feet as wide as the mat again. And then we'll let those knees come over to the right. You can stay here, or you can pick up the right ankle, putting it on top of the left thigh. Breathing and expanding. Now remember, especially if you're taking this deeper option, even if it doesn't right now, if at any time you get funny business in the low back, the hip, the knee, what have you, you always want to come out. Springtime brings a lot of flowers, flowering trees, flowering plants. I surround myself with the natural beauty that is around me. I surround myself with the natural beauty that is around me. When you're ready, carefully undo. Come back center, take your feet back in line with the hips, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then when you're ready, we're going to go to one more little thing. It's a nice little opener now. For me, I can do this on a block sometimes. I'm choosing to do it with a folded blanket. Some of you might not need something that thick. Maybe you need it only about this thick or even thinner. Okay. Maybe you just don't want to use anything under the hips at all, because that's how your body needs to roll today. But I'm refolding this up. I'm going to press into my feet. I'm going to take that right under my hip. So I want my pelvis to be supported, the whole low back supported. And then you can choose to be right here. This feels nice, just being here with bent knees, or you can take the legs long for a moment. Now this is only going to be for 1 minute. Good. You're just getting a little bit of an opening right through here. Belly button is still in though. Protect your back. I appreciate and enjoy all the colors of life in spring. I appreciate all the colors of life in spring. And when you're ready, good. Now we are ready for snail or legs up the walk. You're going to do that. Now, if you've got a block or a folded blanket under here, it's a little bit thicker, and you want to just keep it there for legs up the wall, then all you're going to do is just take your legs up the wall here. So this is a nice way to get an inversion that's less risky on the body and the neck. That's also one you can do if you've got a contraindication where you shouldn't take your legs back there, like uncontrolled blood pressure, a neck issue, eye pressure issues, those kinds of things. So this is a nice way to do that. Those of you that don't want to or don't need that because you want to go into full snail, good. Nothing is under your neck. So no neck rolls, pillows, or anything like that. We're going to do this for 1 minute. Good. And you want to be careful to be on your shoulders, not your neck as well. Okay. So from here, remember, good. And come up. Good. So I'm kind of coming up into a shoulder stand, and then I'm going to take my legs behind. You want to make sure that the feet and the legs are not bouncing around. Ideally, elbows and shoulders are in alignment here, but I've got some limitations, so I'm not able to do that quite as much. So my belly button is still in. I'm making sure that the weight is on my shoulders and not my neck. I know that because there's a bone, a piece of vertebrae at the base of the neck that when it pops out and it's real uncomfortable, that's your sign that you are in the neck, not the shoulders. So really press into the backs of those arms, press into those shoulders. Breathe. You should also be able to breathe here. You can also let go of the low back if your feet touch the floor and extend the arms long behind you. Nope. There's our 1 minute. Good. I'm just going to gently roll out of there. Good. If you went into legs up the wall, carefully bend the knees. Take 1 foot at a time to the floor. And then from here, we're going to finish this off with a nice supine twist. So I'm just going to move some props out of the way. If you want a neck pillow in, you can go ahead and bring that in here. Okay. And then from here, good. Knees and tabletop, we'll just do a basic. Take those knees over to the right. Maybe looking to the left. Breathe and expand. So in plow, if your feet can comfortably touch behind you, you can release the hands from the low back and reach the arms long. Some people clasp them. But if your feet don't comfortably touch behind you, always keep your hands on the low back there for support for safety. And when you're ready, head will come back to center. I'm going to take one leg at a time back to center. I'm going to be a little bit more gentle. And then knees are going to come towards the left now, looking towards the right, breathing and expanding. And head return to center, one leg at a time as we come back in and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're going to take Shavasana from here. So if you have any props that you like to bring in for yours, and I like to bring in my bolster a lot. So I'm just going to bring that right in here. Yeah. Having something under your hips here is also really nice if you tend to be really tight in the hip flexors. We've opened them a little bit, but it can be a nice, relaxing, soothing position here. And then once you settle in, make yourself about 10% more comfortable. I'll leave you with final thought affirmation. The seeds I have previously planted in the garden of my life are now coming to fruition. The seeds I have planted in my garden of my life are now coming to fruition. Beginning to take some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or inviting movement of fingers and toes. Maybe running the thumb along the edge of the fingertips. Choosing stillness or taking knees into the chest or up by the shoulders. Bringing them in or maybe lifting up into a full body hug, finding yours. And choosing stillness, removing any props out of the way if you used any during Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, rolling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then whenever you're ready, carefully bending on both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body. Whenever you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. And taking a nice tall breath, noticing how you feel. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Look up there at those hands. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reconnecting with all of those spring affirmations and your intention one more time. And we'll take thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you too embrace all of the beautiful energy, colors, and natural beauty of spring. Namaste.